Today I'll be talking about the upcoming changes for the dungeon, the harder dungeon itself. But before we go any further, I want to say thanks to my sources from China and the Spanish community and some whales as well who end up providing some of this information to me. I cannot name them, but thanks to them, I was able to confirm some of this information and gather this information at the same time. So without them, this would not be possible. So big thanks to them. And if we change the screen here, I already talked about this in another video, so I will not be boring you guys to that. What we are going to talk about is going to be the harder dungeon and what we can expect. This information is somewhat 90% accurate. So first off, the difficulty of all dungeon can be switched between normal and harder. After the update goes live, you will have an option to switch the difficulty of every single dungeon between a normal dungeon or a harder dungeon. And the harder dungeons are mostly aimed for the end game players. If you are somewhat just starting, it will be a bit too hard for you. The example is the Oblivion Pillar and the Hellslave Bounty. For most players, the difficulty of Oblivion Pillar and the Hellslave Bounty is quite high, so you can expect the same from the harder dungeon as well. It is aimed for the end game player. Next, there will be two modifiers randomly added to your dungeon every time you enter a harder dungeon. And by default, monsters will have more damage and more health compared to a normal dungeon. Again, there will be two random modifiers added to harder dungeon. Each time it will be randomized, just like the Hellslayer Bounty and Oblivion Pillar. And monsters will have more HP and they will have more attack as well. And the drop rate of the set pieces will be increased compared to a normal dungeon. Harder dungeon set pieces will be dropping more frequently, and we can expect somewhat how it drop the legendary items more frequently in Terra Rift and the Oblivion Pillar. So you can expect something closer to that. So you will be seeing the set item drop quite more often compared to a normal dungeon. And then a guaranteed weekly reward for completing the harder dungeon, which include a set item. So every week, if you complete one harder dungeon, it will guarantee give you some reward and a set item. And this will be a special chest for a weekly, but as you play more and more harder dungeon after the first try, the chance of getting that chest will be increased each time, like a PT system, so you can get that chest again. It will include some material, I believe so, and it will have the set pieces as well. So that is what the harder dungeon or the dungeon update is going to be. I'm still trying to figure out and find some more information if we will be getting a new set piece as well, the secondary new set piece or not. And the information that I have right now is suggests it can something is in the works, but we are not sure. We are not sure with the information if that will be coming with the next major update or it will be for the next year major update, the first one. Something is in the work, but not sure if the set item is coming or not, but something is in the works, so we have to wait and see. If we don't get a new set item, new secondary set item this time around, then with the next major update we will most likely get the set piece, because something is in the work, at least what my sources told me. But anyhow, that is all about the upcoming new harder dungeon. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will be talking about this here quality of life update for the familiar and the new raid bosses. I'm trying to pinpoint how many raid bosses we are getting and what is this quality of life feature is going to be. Some different information coming to me, some sounds fake, some sounds real, and I don't want to include the information which isn't accurate in this video, because like I said, 90% of the information that I shared about the harder dungeon is going to be accurate, and that is what we will be getting. So keep your hype in check, don't get too excited, otherwise you will be disappointed. And with that said, I am signing up. Let me know in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on the harder dungeon. Is it something that you guys would enjoy, getting more rewards, more set pieces now for playing the harder dungeon? And another thing that I could not confirm 100%, but it suggests that you will still have the story with the harder dungeon. Mostly the dungeons will remain same. Monsters will only have more HP, more life, and to render modifier to them, but you will still be going through the story. For example, if you are playing Temple of Namari, Namari is still going to talk you to death, and then at the end, Sargot is going to do the same thing, talking you to death, and it will remain same. So that is at least the information that I have suggest, and I was like hoping for like they would remove everything, all the story from the harder dungeon, so you just go kill monsters from one point and next point, and it would make things so much faster, so much more fun, at least in my opinion. So I'm hoping this piece of information that I have is wrong, that the story is still there, present in the harder dungeon. I'm hoping that this is incorrect and they have removed the story from the harder dungeon as well. But the information that I have suggests everything mostly remains same. It's just harder enemies with more HP and life, more damage, and some random modifier, a chance of getting chest, chance of getting more set pieces each time you complete the dungeon, and it will be aimed for endgame players. And you can change the difficulty between a normal dungeon and harder dungeon, and mostly everything remains same. So good change in my opinion, a good change. I am looking forward to the harder dungeon, and I think if we can farm a lot more set pieces, it would be eventually good for everyone. Anyhow, I'm signing off. See you all in the next one. You guys have a great day later.